Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the interim chair, Willie Davis. We're getting ready to start our Human Relations Committee meeting for tonight. Today is June 10th, and the time is what I really don't have a what 5:34, I believe it is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I believe we got it. Look at my clock. I'd like to welcome everyone here. I'd like to start off by asking for a roll call, if I could.
Perfect. And I'll be recording the minutes again tonight because we are still without a administrative assistant for this. So I will read through the roll call, and you can mark yourself as, or announce yourself as present. So the first one will be Commissioner Barker.
Present.
Commissioner Clark.
Present.
Interim Chair Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Iqbal is not here. Commissioner Jones is not here. And Commissioner McGregor is not here. She said that she might join later. And Commissioner Price.
Present.
That's your roll call. That gets us all of their attendance, Willie, so it's back to you.
Okay, next on our agenda, I'd like to take, because everyone had time to look at our last month minutes, see if there's any anything that needs to be changed or added, or any mistakes made. Has everyone had time to review the minutes? Or you need to take a few minutes and look over them?
Would folks like me to share the minutes?
That would be great.
Okay. Here you are. So we talked a little bit about the Fair Housing Committee and what that'll look like. And also the homework hangout.
I'll make a motion to approve. This is Kim Barker.
We have a motion to approve our minutes. Do we have a second?
This is Commissioner Price. I second the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Okay, minutes have been approved.
Well, let's take a quick vote for that.
Yes, we need to take, okay.
So let me pull up my list. So we will start with Commissioner Clark. How do you vote?
I vote to approve. I was not present at that meeting, but I guess I still vote to approve. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Interim Chair Davis.
I approve.
Commissioner Price.
I approve as well.
And Commissioner Barker.
Approve.
Great. The minutes have been approved by a vote of 4-0. And
Okay.
Commissioner Davis, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, next on our agenda, I think we're going to talk about our fair housing workshop update. See if we have any updates. I think that'd be go back to you, Mr. McCray. What anyone want to talk about the fair housing workshop?
Sure. First, I do want to just recognize the other folks who are on the call. We haven't actually done that. That's my fault for not addressing that. We took a roll call of the attendees for the commissioners, but we also are joined by Councilman Davis, or Councilman Johnson. Thank you for joining us. And then we also have two other staff members, myself, Grace McCray, and Jerron Hollis and Jelani Biggs. And then we also have two guests who are going to speak later, hear from an organization, Brothers and Sisters in Christ, Zarnita Ligeti and Lavonda Kennedy. And they'll be talking to us in a little bit. All right, so you want to move on, Chair, to the Fair Housing Workshop Series?
Yes, sir. And you have any updates?
We do. We talked last time a little bit about the structure of what this workshop series is going to look like. And I wanted to quickly provide some updates. Since our last meeting, we have had a number of opportunities to get some input from council about where this is and how this should move forward. And those meetings are actually available on the city's social media if you wanted to review those. And that has helped us shape this. So it's slightly different, but still well in line with what we presented last time. We, at this point, have all of our topics and but one of our speakers already solidified. We don't have dates because the first speaker, who we have not solidified just yet, is our first speaker. We want to make sure they have the opportunity to present before the other speakers arrive. But that should be relatively easy. So we do expect to have dates to you all by email within the next week or so. And that will give you a sense of when these are happening. So the 4 workshops that we're going to be doing, the first one is going to be providing an introduction and overview of fair housing just in general. We've been referring to this as a Fair Housing 101, and that will give you a broad foundation for what this is, how a fair housing assistance program works, any kind of requirements that we would need, what the process is, things like that. The second session is going to be a history of fair housing in High Point. So we're going to talk a little bit about what has been done beforehand and various actions that have been taken in terms of the ordinances that have been passed related to fair housing, what kind of work our office has been doing. And I'm going to be presenting that history, and we will be joined by Mike McNair from the Community Development Office. And then the third session is going to be on the legal aspects of fair housing. So one of the crucial questions when adopting this is going to be what is the legal structure of this? How does the law work? And how would the city legal team need to be involved or not? And so we're going to bring in a lawyer from the Fair Housing Assistance Program in Winston-Salem. And she's going to talk us through kind of what her day looks like, what those things are, kind of how much she gets involved in cases and how she provides support for those cases. And then the fourth session is going to be a panel discussion. And that's going to be an opportunity for us to discuss anything that has come up along the way, though there will be opportunities before that. But there will be specifically for housing providers and landlords, a great opportunity to ask questions. We're going to cover the investigative process. We're going to specifically have investigators from the Fair Housing Assistance Program in Winston-Salem and investigator from the Fair Housing Assistance Program in Greensboro. And throughout, we're going to have the participation as well of our city staff. So, for example, the legal presentation by Takesha will also involve our legal team there so they can ask questions and we can specifically address those concerns. And this will be an opportunity for everyone along the way to be more informed about this. And we will be taking questions and follow-ups along the way so that we can address those questions. And I think that final one will also be moderated by Jelani. And so he also has some fair housing assistance background. So we'll have multiple investigators being able to talk about kind of how this program works and what the process for that is. And we believe, based on the feedback we've gotten from council, that this will address all of the concerns and questions that people have so far about the process and should inform us enough to be to the point where we could make a recommendation one way or the other. I believe that covers it. I don't know if Mr. Biggs or Mr. Hollis have anything to add to that.
Okay. So I have one question for you. You said that y'all went to council and a few things look a little different, but we're still, but well, I think if you said that we're still pretty much online with everything that we had planned, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
They
All right, then.
they had some mostly their questions were kind of about this, and some of their questions that they had that they asked us specifically were things that we then took as ways to improve this series while we were developing it. So we were able to specifically say, oh, if that's something that you'd like to hear more about, we'll make sure that that's addressed in one of our workshops.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Say that again, Mr. Hollins. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Mr. Chair, if I may have the floor, please.
Oh man, my phone is really messing. I didn't. Were you asking me a question?
Permission to speak.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, you have. Yes. Yes, you have.
Yeah,
Yes.
so for those who might be viewing this, and for those commissioners, just as a refresher, when we're talking about the fair housing program, one thing to keep in mind that this is, and Jelani, you might have the year, I don't have it committed to memory, but when we talk about a fair housing program, this is existing law. We're not having a discussion about any new law as it relates to protected rights and the observance of fair housing. This is more a discussion about how the city would choose to provide a level of service to local residents that's available to them at a distance through Raleigh or through HUD. So as we talk about the process, as we talk about the steps, and we have our presentations, what we're having a discussion is how to best serve High Point residents with the existing resources that are out there that would be available to the city of High Point in order to, one, help our residents when and should they have issues related to fair housing. But another thing that also needs to be discussed is the level of expanded support we can provide for our housing providers, so that we can create an environment so that, for example, with leases or with requests for particular types of service or for evictions. So we're talking about a program that would change what we're doing now, but expand what we were doing now as it relates to our tenants and our housing providers, as well as some other aspects that we'll talk about in the workshop. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You were. And my apologies. I'm sorry I didn't understand you at first. I was turning on my headphone at the moment. I'm sorry. Anyone else have any statements or questions they'd like to add?
I have a question. This is Commissioner Barker.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
In the workshops, and you probably already have it in there, I just wanted to make sure that there be some overall statistics so that we can see numbers as far as High Point versus Raleigh for those different categories, Jerron, that you were talking about. I just think that's important to understand some of the statistics related.
Yes, Commissioner Barker, and I think, and I appreciate the question. I think it's a good question that a lot of people have, and I think part of what we're doing with the education is to understand that we're talking about a program. The statistics are a part of the conversation, but it's a broader conversation than statistics. And Jelani, if you can talk about a little bit about statistic availability. We've had some recent conversations with HUD, and Jelani, can you talk about that a little bit to help answer Commissioner Barker's question?
Sure. So, and one of the things I think I've mentioned before is, how do you assess the greater need when looking at a FAP agency? Our current model is a referral model. So when a customer walks through the door, we assess that interaction for any fair housing related issues, any code enforcement issues, landlord tenant issues, employment related issues. And then if we identify a proper fair housing complaint, we send that to the state. Now that is a referral to the state, at which point we wouldn't know exactly how many complaints are going directly to the state. We make the assumption that all High Point residents know about human relations. I like to think so, but the reality is that some folks may be going straight to the North Carolina Human Relations Commission with fair housing complaints. Some folks may be going directly to HUD. One of the things that happens when you become a fair housing assistance program is if you do have that partnership with HUD, they would then refer those complaints to you as a municipality for further investigation. Otherwise, you wouldn't be privy to those statistics and those numbers. So while we do have complaints that we refer directly to the state for further investigation, there are some that go directly to the state that we wouldn't know about, and some that go directly to HUD. And Jerron alluded to it in his statements. There's also a component, a little chicken and the egg. You know, will folks come to you with fair housing complaints if they know you're not the investigative body? Will they even bring that inquiry into the office and discuss that with you? Part of a fair housing assistance program is HUD resources to make sure that you're interacting with housing providers and residents within your locality to make sure they know you are that resource. So I think we're seeing a portion of the need here in High Point, but there's reason to believe we're not seeing all of it.
And that's sorry.
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
No, I think that's very fair, statement assessment. I'm just thinking of an overall, as you build a business case to say, is it worth the time, effort, resources, whatever, to have one here? It's good to understand at least a need, even if you have a delta, of a part that you don't know, because I'm assuming this will take resources either on your part. I don't know if it's a new position. Is it just work that you guys absorb? Do you get a new position? I don't understand how all of that would work if there was something that came here. I'm just used to seeing the statistics that justify the business case.
Sure, and I think that's a question I think that a lot of people have. I think those are similar questions that some of our members of council have had. And I think there are, to your earlier question, there are some statistics that we can provide. I mean, there are things that we do know from our end when we're talking about people that come in, the kind of walk-in traffic. But I think when you look at the information, and this discussion is a part of the reason why we want to have the Fair Housing 101, because FAP program some of it comes down to an understanding of providing services. A FAP program would be different than, say, a program where there's a fee for service. So if I'm looking at a theater, or if I'm looking at a parks program, if I'm looking at a baseball stadium, I'm looking for dollars that are going to come in that are going to cover the costs of what I'm doing, because, and that gets to the term we use, business case. What we talk about with other programs in municipalities, one of the primary pillars of government, and especially local government, is government operates in a space where there is oftentimes no incentive for other parties to do it. So in other words, no one's getting in line to pave streets out of the goodness of their hearts. No one's going in. So when you talk about a fair housing assistance program, it would be something along the lines of something that impacts quality of life. So when we talk about, say, police service, we don't talk about police service in terms of a business case for it. You can make a business case for it, but I think the idea is that most people would want to live in a place where the quality of life is somewhere where they can walk down the street and have these transactions. So I think it'll be great, and this is the kind of discussion and dialogue we can have in the one-on-one. There is a part of it that deals with numbers, that deals with cases, that deals with a process, but it's a more robust program that deals with education, quality of life, and what your organization and what your community deems as important quality services. So from a data standpoint, there is some information that we can provide. One of the things that you're going to see with the data that we do provide from a community development standpoint, there's usually a correlation with our number of minimum housing cases. In other words, the quality of housing in your community. There's a general idea that there's a correlation with that and the need and the fair housing need. So if you look at objectively, if you look at some of the data, one of the questions that we'll talk about in the workshop is based on some of the housing stock that we have, what are our residents doing if they're not coming to us? What would you expect to see with the number of minimum housing cases that we have? What would you expect to see in a community with our population, with our diversity, et cetera? What would you expect to see? So there's so many interesting aspects of this, and I think that's why one of the reasons why the council wanted to get more information of policy, of outlook, of cause and effect, numbers, all those things. But we could probably turn this into a one-on-one workshop tonight. But that's a teaser for you, Commissioner Barker. So tune in, and you'll have all your questions answered.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is anyone else? Well, excuse me, Ms. Barker, are you?
Well, that's good. I'm good.
Okay. Anyone else will like to ask a question or make a comment? Anyone else? Okay. Well, next we're going to move on.
Mr. Davis, Chair Davis, I might just reiterate for the record, the commissioners that are on the Fair Housing Subcommittee. So those would be the ones who we will, when we're reaching out and asking for a consensus, or not a consensus, but, saying these are when the scheduled workshops are, the commissioners who we would be expecting to attend, all of those who have committed to that. I just want to reiterate that we have expectations from Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Iqbal, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner McGregor, and also Councilman Johnson. That those will be the participants from the commission who have made a commitment to kind of be the eyes and ears sitting in on those workshops and reporting back to the commission as a whole. So I just wanted to reiterate that.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you. So I really appreciate that and everyone that's committed to it. Anyone else have any questions or statements they'd like to talk about for the Fair Housing Workshop update?
This is Councilman Johnson, and may I have permission to speak?
You do. You have the floor.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it any better than Jerron spoke earlier in regards to it. And I believe the questions that the council has in the Fair Housing 101 and the other sessions, definitely I believe that we will get our answers to those questions. So I do believe that this is definitely the right way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like the floor? Okay, well, this is Interim Davis. I'm just saying I'm very excited about this fair housing, and I'm looking very forward to moving forward with it. So, with that being said, if no one else have anything else to say, we'll move right along to our next thing on the agenda is our homework workshop update. Mr. McCray, do you have any updates you would like to give us on the homework
Sure.
workshop?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. These are largely incremental updates. I reiterated this in the last meeting that because we're not able to start this, given the state guidance of kind of avoiding in-person contact, still for COVID safety, our hope is to implement this in the fall. Even so, I am working with the High Point Police Department specifically to kind of identify site locations for us. Today I received a list of, that I'll briefly share my screen to show, a list of Title I schools in High Point. So this is a list of all the Title I schools, and you can see the black dots next to the ones that are the ones in High Point. These we've identified will be a great kind of way to look at them and say that these would probably be places where we would want to kind of identify, in need populations that we might be able to most help. And so we'll probably be seeking a site that is in line with these kind of areas.
Hello.
That's helpful.
And I can share this with the commission once after the meeting. I'll send this out to the commission so you can see that. I'm also working with the police department to identify additional sites within these areas. For example, maybe community centers or something like that, where they already have, or housing complexes where they already have established relationships and would like to further build that. So that is a kind of way to kind of help us narrow down a site selection.
Ray, this is Commissioner Barker. The ones with the dots are the Title I, correct?
This whole list is Title I. So this is, but because we're not in a city school system, we're in a Guilford County school system.
Okay.
If you're looking at, for example, Gibsonville Elementary, that is not in High Point.
Got it.
So that's why the black dot ones, Andrews, Penn Griffin, those are ones that are within the High Point area.
Makes more sense now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to stop sharing then.
Okay. Will anyone else have any questions or comments about our homework workshop?
I think, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
Jerron Hollis here, Managing Director. I think that as things are opening back up, gradually, slowly but surely, I think this gives us some opportunities to do some things in the coming weeks and months that we couldn't have done otherwise. It would have been more difficult. So I think the progress, and thank you to everyone that's been working on this. This is really, really important. We're talking again about quality of life issues, right? And I think something like this, with the timing, I think it's going to coincide really well with things opening back up, or us being able to have more personal contact. This program works best with in-person connection, and so this, I think it's a great time, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Okay. And I am this Interman Davis again. I have to agree with Jerron. Excuse me for calling Jelani. I'm sorry for Mr. Hollis there. I'm very excited about it also, and I think it's going to really be a great thing for our city and for our committee. So let's hope for the best. I pray for the best for all of us. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Well, we're next on our agenda. Then we'll move right along. If we anyone have any additional anything else they want to talk about or anything, Mr. McCray? Yeah, I think you said we had some guests that you wanted to talk.
Yeah, we do have some guests that we're joined by Zarnita and Lavonda, who I would like to introduce. One of them will talk about I think I've mentioned this to some of the commissioners before, that in the past, I have worked with as part of the library, and Mr. Biggs also worked as part of the Human Relations Manager position, We have worked with developing a backpack and school supplies giveaway. And we'll be doing that again this year. And so I asked our community partners to come address the commission and tell us a little bit about that event. So take it away.
Well, thank you, Race, for allowing us to come and talk about the book bag giveaway. This year it's going to be July 31st, 2021. And what we've done in the past, the first year we had it was at the library, and it was really big. We gave away between 275 to 300 book bags, and we had a DJ, we had balloon maker, we had face painting, we had a passport system where the kids would go through the library, and it was a way to bring students, kids, adults to familiarize their way through the library. And that was a success. And we decided to have it again. That started in 2019. We decided to have it again in 2020, and then COVID hit. And so we decided to do it as a drive-through. And that was a success too. We gave away 300 book bags, and that still wasn't enough. We did it in the parking lot of the insurance company beside the library. And we partnered with High Point City and the library, and the farmers market has partnered with us also. And we had Mr. Biggs was there, and Councilman Johnson was there as volunteers. And it was a success. And what we're here today is to ask you for support or any resources you may have to help us with continuing this community event to give out these book bags. And we're hoping that we can give out more, because last year we had people, they were given away so fast that the 300 were gone before we had it going from 9 to 12. And it would be good to be able to give out at least, I believe we could give out at least 500 to help the community, for the kids to go back to school with book bags. Not just book bags, they were also filled with supplies such as pencils, rulers, glue, and other things that they needed for the school year. And if you all know of any one that could give us more resources or any support as far as volunteers, that would be very helpful.
So Anita, this is Commissioner Barker. Do you have a list of items that you would like people to donate, or do you prefer to have money? You know, what is the process if someone wanted to get involved and say, hey, we're going to give you X, Y, and Z? What do we do? We would take a lot. Some other people just gave us supplies to go with it, so that would be great, such as pencils and pens and college ruled notebook paper was something that we really needed. We had to buy a list.
Yes, I can get that to you.
I would love to have that and see what I can find to help you.
I will come in just to note, Commissioner Barker, that because we need 500 of any one thing, it's best to identify one thing and say, we're just going to bring, you know, whatever your group is, we're just going to bring, say, 500 pens, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if we get 3 notebooks and then 50 pens and 10 erasers, it doesn't actually help, because we don't know how to pack those.
Unless you get
able
back
to say,
right?
My target is 500 notebooks, and you're able to meet that target, then that is useful.
500 of something, or what if you could get 100 backpacks?
We actually already have. So the other thing is that we're actually being underwritten this year by Bethany Medical, and they are providing all of the backpacks.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if you could get us that list, I think I know some folks who can help you out on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. do I get that from you, Race, as far as sending her?
Yeah, you could send it to me and I can share it with all the commissioners.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So this is Chair Davis again. Race, my question to you is, so if I'm understanding, you think it would be a good idea if we all, like once we got the list, we all, we decided that okay, we're gonna do pencils or we're gonna do paper, that we come together and do that. Also, if we want to give extra, it would be also take upon ourselves to give extra. It would be also be fine. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think there are lots of ways that this could be strategized. But for example, if we as a commission could all choose something that we, some items that we want to identify, or it could be, I think as Commissioner Barker is asking, she has connections with her community. That could be a church group. It could be some other group where she's able to say, okay, yes, I want us to, purchase, 500 of X, 500 packs of markers, for example. That is a reasonable ask. And that then if we wanted to contribute to that, that would probably be something that, all of us as commissioners could work on. Or if instead she said, my group will commit to that individually, then any commissioners who wanted to also step up, if Commissioner Clark said, well, my group also could do 500, packs of crayons to match that, that could be done. Or we as a commission could all say, let's all try to raise crayons and, each one of us will bring that together. That is something that I think we could probably work out through an email once we see the list from our partner.
And what date would you need all of these by? I know you said you're giving them out on July 31st. My guess is you'd need it before then.
We actually do the packing event on the morning of.
Okay.
So as long as you had it to us, I don't want to be down to the wire on Friday night saying, I just don't know when we're getting those resources. But if you're able to get us the week before, at some
like
point.
by the 25th. Okay, I just need a date. I hate running up into the day of either too.
The 25th is great.
Okay, that's great. That was really great. Anyone else have any statements or questions or they like to ask or make concerning the backpack program?
Thank you, Zarnita. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve. Back to you, Mr. McCray.
Sure. Our second additional item for tonight is that the library has approached the Human Relations Office and asked us to help partner with an upcoming community read that they are doing. And I have secured books for every one of the commissioners. So the community read is, if you're not familiar with that, is a program where the library generally purchases a large number of books and tries to develop a community conversation around a specific topic. So they had previously done a number of community reads. I was involved a few years ago when they did a book called Seed Folks. And this year they're doing a book called Trust First. And this is written by Bruce Deal, Beel, and Sarah Grace. And Trust First is, Bruce Deal is a pastor at Mission Church in Atlanta. And it is about his work to work with underserved populations. Specifically, he's working a lot with folks who are previously incarcerated and folks who are experiencing homelessness. So a lot of the programming will be around that. We do not have a set program for that. I'm announcing it to you all early because we would like your involvement, both in the event itself will be planned by the library and the events and everything related to that. But we would like your help in thinking about how we can further integrate this into the community and how we can spread the word. They have purchased, I believe, 500 books. So it'll be easily accessible for a lot of folks. They will be having a kickoff event in mid-July. And then in September, they're going to bring the author, Bruce Deal, here to talk and address the community. And there will be a number of events between those two dates to talk and further incite discussions about this.
This is Commissioner Barker. It is the objective to help me understand what the outcome expectations would be, because it sounds like it's been done other places. I just haven't seen it done here. So I'm just trying to better understand.
Sure. So often community reads are done as a way to, there's lots of different outcomes from them, but one of the big ones is to bring people together as a community around a shared idea. So in this case, it would be reaching out to the homeless populations, reaching out to folks, and how do we develop trust among our community members? How do you approach strangers? How do you, make people who appear as strangers actually become part of our community? And so we'll be having a lot of conversations about that. So the outcome would be first and foremost to spread those ideas and also provide an opportunity or a text by which people can come together. And then often, depending on the book, there are all sorts of other kind of sub goals. So previously, when we did this, I believe in 2017 or 2018, we had our book Seed Folks, which is about a community garden. And we used that to talk about food insecurity issues in High Point. And we had a lot of conversations about that and how to address those. And a lot of great folks were already working in that space, but it gave them, shined a spotlight on some of the work they're doing and got more folks involved in community gardens, and also raised the profile of the farmers market and getting fresh food and produce to folks. So that was a huge part of that one. This one would be, again, related more to issues of, how do we promote trust? How do we promote, harmony instead of division? How do we bring people together? And how do we work with these populations who are not being served?
And you said you have the books?
I will have the books in my office to give to commissioners within a week or so, probably. I'll shoot all the commissioners an email to let them know when those are available. You're welcome to come by and pick them up, next time we're seeing each other in person. Ideally, I would like you to have this book before the actual launch of the book, the One Book, One City, which would be happening in mid-July, because my hope is that I've asked for these copies in advance so that the commissioners can read them and kind of serve as ambassadors for this. That would be my hope, is that you all would be champions for this and promoting this. Like I said, books will be available for whatever communities you'd like to, address this. So, if you want to lead a discussion at your church, for example, this will be an opportunity for you then to go to the library and get some additional books and be a part of that.
Thank you. Look forward to reading it.
Okay. No, I'm looking very forward to Chair Davis again, but Interim Chair Davis, excuse me. But I know I'm looking very forward to getting the book and reading it. Sounds like it's going to be very good, very great book. Anyone else? Anything else? Mr. McCray, you have any others? Yes.
I do have a few more items. As I said, we've got lots of additional items tonight. These are going to be a little faster, though. Generally, a few announcements. The first is that we have hired a new administrative assistant who has officially agreed to join our team. Her name is Denise Taylor, and she previously worked or continues to work, I guess, right now in the customer service part of the city. And so she will be making that transition to us by our next commission meeting. So she will be joining us then. And we're extremely excited to have her join our team. It was a very competitive applicant pool with lots of outstanding applicants. And nonetheless, Denise was just an absolute standout. And I think we'll be, really benefiting from the awesome presence that she will bring. The second announcement would be that because some of the COVID restrictions have been eased or are easing, I wanted to bring up the idea of meeting in person again. And the city council will be having their first meeting in person with public in July. And I was going to suggest that we should begin meeting in person in August, and wanted to see if there was any discussion about that.
This is Commissioner Barker. I would support that.
This is Interim Chair Davis. I would support it very much. It would give us a chance to get to know each other on a more of a personal level, I think. And it would be great to meet everyone again. So I would definitely support it. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say? Any additional items or anything?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah, floor.
Just want to thank the commissioners. I mean, during COVID, it seems like everything's been a challenge. And the dedication that we've had from our commissioners to participate and balance with all the other activities and still participate and ask lots of really, really good questions, Commissioner Barker, and just be able to, I don't think she heard me, but just to be able to participate and help us get this agenda moving. Because even throughout COVID, need and process and program, none of those things stop. And so just the dedication of this group to show up to the meetings, to add value, to roll up their sleeves, offer ideas, you can't measure that. So just wanted to say that as a tip of the cap to our commissioners. Rach, do you want to say anything about, you have on your list about our commissioner vacancy?
Yeah, I will. Thank you. There are, as you know, 2 more vacancies, and we are currently reviewing applications. I believe that we have some strong interest, and we've had a number of folks who have applied. And so we are currently reviewing those. We do hope to have those commissioner spots filled as soon as possible. As always, we have some excellent applicants and folks who are interested in, just like yourselves. So I think that we will hopefully be able to have a full commission soon.
Okay. That would be great. That would be great. Well, we're all looking for, I know I am, and I think everyone else is looking to move forward and really hit the pavement right now, moving forward with our feet just running, get things going here. Anyone else would like to say anything? I know I like to say before we end, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to thank our guests for being here and sharing and talking about the backpack. I really think really appreciate everyone for their time and effort they put toward this committee. It's really great working with everyone. I really do appreciate it. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say right now, or any comments or announcements they'd like to make?
Just a quick thank you to you, Commissioner Davis, for stepping into the interim position. And you did a great job. I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. I very appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just think it's also great to thank our, as part of this COVID response, our communications department has really stepped up. And thank you, Noel, for being our engineer behind the scenes tonight. We appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if no one else have anything they'd like to add, I'd like to, can we get a motion to adjourn? If I think we've covered everything. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
This is Commissioner Clark, and I make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Can I get a second?
This is Commissioner Price. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we do a roll call for that, Mr. McCray?
Absolutely. Let's see, we'll start with Interim Chair Davis.
Well, yes.
Sure. Also, let's see, the next in line is Commissioner Price,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
and Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
Thank you. So the meeting, the vote to adjourn has been passed 4-0.